welcome to GCSE Biology. This morning we're talking about feeding relationships. It's about how animals get energy through food chains. It all starts off with the sun. So the sun is what gives energy to plants. So plants such as grass, and this grass is going to trap the sun's energy with its chlorophyll through photosynthesis. Now, to symbolise the energy being passed on, we use an arrow. The arrow always points in the way that the energy is going. So grass is eaten by something, and so the energy flows away from the grass because it's being eaten by something else. In this case, let's say it's eaten by a rabbit. Now, this rabbit is also probably eaten by something, and so the arrow again flows away from the rabbit as the energy is passed from the rabbit to something else. In this case, it's going to be a fox. It's always good to label your diagrams just in case people don't know what they are or what they're supposed to be. So the energy passes from the sun to the grass, to the rabbit, to the fox. Now the grass, because it's getting its energy from the sun, that means it's a producer. It produces its own energy through photosynthesis. The rabbit, because it's eating the grass, is a consumer because it's consuming something. Because it's consuming the producer, it's the first consumer, so we call it the primary consumer. Whereas the fox, because it's eating something that's eating the grass, we call that a secondary consumer. Now, if an organism eats only grass and produces some plants, that would make them a herbivore. Now, there are some advantages to being a herbivore. Plants don't move, so they don't run away, but the disadvantages are that actually the cellulose, the cell walls, are quite hard to break down and digest, and so it is more difficult to get at the energy that the plants have. Now, a secondary consumer, if it eats other animals, then it's going to be a carnivore. Now, the advantages here are that the fat and the proteins in the meat are easy to digest, and so it's pretty easy to get the energy that we need out of an animal. But the disadvantages for most carnivores are that animals are hard to catch. Now, the numbers of rabbits and foxes are actually linked because they have this feeding relationship. And so it might be that one year there's lots of grass, lots of great fresh grass, and so the numbers of rabbit increase. If the numbers of rabbit increase, then that's going to mean that the numbers of foxes are able to increase because, hang on, they've now got loads of rabbits to eat, and they were hard to catch, but if there are so many of them, then they're pretty easy to catch. And so obviously, if the foxes are eating the rabbit, that's going to mean that the rabbit numbers decrease because now they've all been eaten, which are actually going to then mean that the fox numbers decrease because there aren't very many rabbits to eat. If there aren't many foxes, many predators around, then the rabbits are going to increase, and so on, and so on, and so on. And so what we can do is we can draw a little graph sometimes, and on the graph we'll have the size of the population and time, and so we can see that as the rabbits, they might increase and then decrease. The foxes will increase a little bit after that, and then decrease a little bit after it, and they'll probably have increased there as well. And so they follow each other. So as one increases, the other increases. As one decreases, the other decreases. Often with a time delay as well. That's about it for feeding relationships today. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments below.